And before we start any presentation at Royal Rhodes University, we always acknowledge that we live, learn, and work on the traditional lands of the Esquimalt and Songhees families. And learning has been happening here for countless generations. So we are very grateful to be on this land. And I also want to acknowledge that we are in such a complex time with the global health crisis. I think that many of us are thinking about the way forward and hoping to co-create a better reality than the one that we're coming from. And thinking about that and what the future might look like through the lens and the education of the Doctor of Business Administration program. And a warm welcome to Dr. Hassan Wafai, Program Head. He will be sharing information about the Doctor of Business Administration program and taking you through the majority of the presentation today. My name is Imara Angus, and I will be co-hosting the session alongside Andrea Toro Lopez. In addition, we also have enrollment advisors monitoring the chat, so feel welcome to ask any questions or comments in the chat as we will be monitoring the chat throughout and have an opportunity as well at the end for any questions. And I want to quickly go over the agenda for today. So we'll start with getting to know one another. If you haven't yet mentioned in the chat where you're joining us from, I'd love for you to pop that in there, as well as a brief overview of the Royal Rhodes University experience, program information, the application process and any requirements, and all requirements, and any questions. And feel welcome to ask questions in the chat throughout. It's a small detail, but you'll notice we go out of our way to learn first names fast. To get to know you, this simple personal gesture conveys a deeper philosophical position for us. It reminds us that your path here is personal, it's solely yours, and it is deserving of our attention in a way that is as fitting to you as your name is. And life is also an education, and not all learning takes place in the classroom, even here, especially here. We value and respect students who arrive with a variety of different life and educational experiences. We take into consideration professional qualifications that go beyond previous grades and degrees. Life is the biggest school of all, and we will happily accept its credentials. And there really is no in here and out there, no division between theory and practice. You learn from scholar practitioners, study with seasoned professionals, and research to practical application. And education isn't about putting your life and career on pause. It's about bringing them to an entirely new place and a whole other level. Royal Rhodes University is a leader in change and social innovation and has been recognized with its designation as an Ashoka U Changemaker Campus. The Ashoka U Changemaker Campus Network is a dynamic global community of more than 40 universities and colleges committed to advancing social innovation and change-making across their institution and beyond. And some of the pictures here are of our campus. And top left is Hatley Castle. And on the right is the beauty of the Esquimalt Lagoon, which can be seen from campus and is a really short drive away. And Charlie's Trail on the bottom left. That's one of my favorite places on campus for a lunchtime walk. And here at Royal Rhodes, we've been leaders in online learning for 25 years. And now over to Hassan, who will continue to take you through today's session.
Thank you very much, Imara. Thank you. Can you hear me clearly, everyone? Give me a thumb up. Kind of. There you go. Okay, some thumb up. But I'm looking at the chat while you were talking, Imara, and see a variety of places. Wonderful. So thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Hassan Wafai, and from my name is clear I was born outside Canada and I joined Royal Road in 2013. I'm an associate professor in the School of Business. I teach operation, innovation, management, and also I'm a program head of the Doctor of Business Administration. Before that, I was the lead designer of the program itself. I'm gonna explain a little bit about the program, and And feel free to ask me any question as I'm going through the details of the program. Perhaps I wouldn't be able to monitor the chat, but I'm sure Andrea or Imara will notify me as we move on. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Next slide. Yes, thank you. So, what is a Doctor of Business Administration (DBA)? The name of the degree. It's okay. We lost the presentation, aren't we? Or are we still on the presentation? Can you see the presentation?
I'm so sorry. My computer just did that fun technology thing where it stopped working. Let me reshare the presentation. Those of you in the room all understand how fun that is when that happens, right?
Don't worry, take your time. I can still speak about the program without the presentation. So a Doctor of Business Administration. What's a Doctor of Business Administration? Doctor of Business Administration, it is a research intensive program, a doctoral research intensive program. It's unique. It's unique in BC and it's unique in Canada. The uniqueness of the program comes from its hybrid nature. When we talk about the hybrid nature, we're referring to the combination between a conventional PhD program and a professional doctorate. Here we go. We have the presentation again. I'm sure that you...
How is that looking? Does it look correct for you? I'll go forward to the right slides. And apologies again for technical difficulties.
Don't worry, it's our new reality. And I see Rabia bin Halas is in the waiting room as well, if you wish to admit her. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Is that the right slide?
Yes, that is the right, perfect slide. So I was explaining the program and saying that it is unique to British Columbia and Canada. It's a research intensive program oriented to applied management research. The unique feature of the program, it's a hybrid model. It's the last point you can see in on the screen. It's designed to integrate the conventional PhD program with more conventional practice-based doctorate. I'm going to talk a little bit about this, but this is a very important point, and that's what makes DBA program at Royal Road very unique program. It still has the research rigor of a conventional PhD program, but it also focuses on the applied nature of today business world. The DBA program is a blended program. A blended means it consists of online learning and on-campus residencies. I'm going to talk a little bit about this, but the point I want to make here that as you're doing the program, you really don't need to put your career on hold in order to complete your doctorate. You can still continue working as a full-time professional and do your doctorate. But that's, of course, it's not easy. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But that is a blended design. Can we move to the next slide, please? So a program at a glance, it's a 60 credit program, very much similar to any doctoral program in Canada and most of North America. That's a standard. Hybrid design, we talked about hybrid design. Knowledge production. What do we mean by knowledge production? The focus of the program is introducing knowledge. I see that many of you have MBA or master or a different type of master. In a master degree, you focus on applying knowledge. You learn something, let's say, HR model, and you're trying to apply that model to your organization. Here, the focus is not about applying. It's here, the focus here is about producing knowledge, adding knowledge to human knowledge. In order to be awarded a doctorate, you need to be able to produce actionable and relevant knowledge. Actionable in the way that this knowledge it's applicable to real life situation. It's and relevant. It's about being relevant to theory. That means can be generalized. Can other context take advantage of that piece of knowledge that you will produce? Program length is 4 to 7 years. The delivery of the program is a blended design. That is a combination of online learning and on-campus residencies, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in the next slide. I have the slide on my other screen just to make sure that I'm following. Yes. So this is the structure of the program, and here's where I'm going to talk a little bit about that blended nature of the program. As you can see, the program it's a 4-year program. You can see every row, it's a year. So the first row, we call it the foundations phase. In the foundations phase, you will have 6 courses. It's a course phase, and these courses are designed to prepare you to do your research. And we name courses here as MGMT 700, MGMT 705, 710, just as a reference. And I'm sure in your master degrees, you have courses that also have numbers. And if you remember the numbers in a master degree, it's 500, 400. The undergrad degree is 200, 300. So at a doctoral level, numbers starts with 700. So we have 6 courses: the MGMT 700, 705, 710, 711, 12, and 17. And that's the first year. In the first year, we will have, you can see it in the first block. I don't have the pointer. I can't point it, but yes, here. Thank you, Imara. In the first block, you see the MGMTA workshops. That is the residency. So in the first year, you will have 2 weeks residency. That's the first year. Now, moving to the second year, you will have again another residency in the second year, and you will continue the rest of the year working with your supervisory committee. And the second year residency is only 1 week. Third year, you will continue working with your supervisory committee in developing your research, advancing it. And in the beginning of, or at the beginning of the 4th year, you will have the third residency, which is also 1 week residency. Now, for those who are familiar with Royal Road model, how many here did programs at Royal Road? How many in the room did the program at Royal Road? Could you give me some hint? I'm going to look at the chat. Okay, I'm still waiting. MGM, okay, very so. Thank you, Dan. I see we have MGM alumni. I see here Nick as well. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it here. But for those who's familiar with the Royal Road model, the residency normally is designed around courses. At the doctoral level, residency is designed around workshops. So we refer here to residency as workshop. What does that mean? It means that during residency, you will have little courses. It's not about you go to classroom. Well, I have an assignment, and no, it's not like this. Residencies at doctoral level is around workshop. It's like a conference-based setting where you have offices on campus, and you work together with other doctoral students, first year, second year, and 4th year, in one space over the time of the residency. You present your work, you contribute or participate in other presentation and workshops. Of course, I can talk more about the type of workshops that we have during residency, but generally speaking, we have a scholarly workshop where the focus will be on scholarly activities, research. You present your research, you hear others presenting their research. There's also professional workshops where you listen or you interact with the professionals in the industry to understand different perspectives, which is industry perspective. Okay, are we good? Any questions so far? Please feel free to put to put questions. If you have any question, put that on chat, or if you wish to grab a mic and speak, most welcome. Here is the schedule. That is the formal way to have the schedule for 2022. So if you go to the website, you will see this one. And this one is very similar to the simplified version I showed you in the last slide. So this is the formal version of the schedule for the 2022 intake that's going to start in January 2022. And as you can see, for example, you see here the MGMT 700, which is line number 1, 2, 3, line number 3, MGMT 700. You see the start and the end date, and you will see the residency, time in kind of a reddish, which is on campus, 2 weeks. And so on. Please have time to look at it and let us know if you have any question. Let's move to the next slide, please. Okay, so to explain a little bit about the coursework, I was talking about coursework, and I will also talk about the residency. And here we have a little bit of explanation about these two elements. So the first year, what we call foundations year, it's 6 courses, 2 courses about the development of management thoughts and practice. So we just wanted to refresh your memory for those who did management study before the program, refresh their memory, and for those who did not have management study, that will be a very good introduction to management theories and practices. And then we will have 3 courses about research design, the research inquiry design, and then the quantitative and the qualitative design. So we have 3 courses, critical courses. 3 critical courses. These courses will give you the skills, the knowledge needed to design your research. And then the final course, which is what we call one directed reading course. What do we mean by directed reading course? Directed reading course, you're going to work with one instructor only. That's a 717. If you go look at the schedule, the name of the course 717, MGMT 717. You work with one instructor over a 6-month period, and you will dig deep into your area of expertise or area of research over this 6-month period. So 6 courses. Once you finish the 6 courses, you will be ready to start the process. You will submit, you will do the candidacy exam, and you will submit the formal proposal. That is sometime toward the 2nd year of the program. Now, the 3 residency, as I was explaining, it's a 2-week residency, 1-week residency, and 1-week residency. All residencies happen at the same time, occur at the same time. The idea here to bring all students together and give them one space where they could interact and share their research progress, idea, design, and so on and so on. During residency, we have workshops, interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, knowledge-intensive workshop, the professional, development, and scholarly oriented workshops. It is an important feature, the way residencies are designed. In the residencies, for example, we are in the middle of a residency right now. our colleagues, the DBA students, in the first 3 days, they get the introduction and they're working toward, this is their first residency, and toward the end of the residency, they will present their own research to Royal Road community. It's an opportunity for them to interact with other researchers, with faculty on a peer-to-peer, basis. Any question so far? Let me look at the chat if I'm missing any questions. So,
Hassan, this is
yes.
Andrea here. I got a question sent directly to me, and the question is about how does the supervisor community work? Will we have the same resources allocated to us for the entire duration of the program, or will it be different each year?
Thank you very much. So it's an important question, very important question. Perhaps for next webinar, I will provide more detail around that. I think this is now, I noticed this is one of those area that needs more explanation, especially for the new student. So supervisory model at Royal Roads works differently. For a conventional PhD program, you will not be able to start doctoral study unless you have supervisor. So if you want to do a PhD in, let's say, in X university, you need to agree with your supervisor that, well, would you take me? The supervisor will say, yes, of course, or no. You need to get that agreement before you start a program. That's a conventional PhD program. Now, for us, because we are not targeting young master graduates necessarily, we're targeting professionals. So the way we design it, that we allow a student to come in without naming supervisor in the beginning, and they're gonna take 1 year. That's a course work year where they do the whole courses, the 6 courses, and during these 6 courses, we will work with the student to nominate a supervisor. And a supervisory committee. Now, toward the end of the first year, we will have a clear idea who will be sitting on the supervisory committee. Supervisory committee normally consists of a principal supervisor, 2 and 3 advisors. Principal supervisor can be one of Royal Road faculty, or can be an external to Royal Road faculty. So oftentimes, for example, we have cases where we don't have specific expertise in specific area. So oftentimes we work with the student to identify professors in other universities who will work with the student as a supervisor. But in order to accept an external, that external needs to meet certain criteria, academic criteria, and this is very common. So this happens. So you don't need to worry to say, well, I need to work, let's say, in this particular field, but I'm not sure whether you have faculty that could support us. We're going to work with you. The first year, you're going to take your time to make sure that that's the area you want to work in, right? That is the exact area you want to work in. You need that time. You need that time to reflect. And once you are clear on what you want to do, then we'll work with you to identify a supervisory committee. Did I answer the question? Please give me a hand. Did I answer the question? Yes, thank you. Great. Any other question I missed? Yes.
There is a question about the residency. So during COVID time, and I know Tracy already explain a little bit more on the chat, but can you speak about how COVID has impacted on-campus residency and how that is now delivered in a online model?
Thank you very much. And thank you. So during COVID, we could not hold residencies on campus. So we moved residencies online. And we created, of course, online version interactive online version of the residency. And the decision was made last year for this year. Now, it's not necessarily our decision. It is the government decision. We're trying to follow government. I'm not sure it's the right term here, but we're trying to follow the guideline governments provide for all universities. So we follow universities standards in Canada. We moved all residency to be online. Now, when we say online, I understand that some of you will think, well, okay, online is less engaging. It's not that interesting. No, that is maybe correct in other contexts, but Royal Road has been in the online education, blended education specifically for quite a long time. I think it's Royal Road's the first public university in Canada that adopted the blended model. So building on our experience, we were able to redesign the residency in the way to be very interactive, although it is online. That is for this year. Now, you are probably interested in joining next year. That is 2022, or maybe the year after. Now, we have no information what's going to happen for next year, but all expectations indicate that we will be able to go back to normal, where we will hold our residencies on campus again in next year. There is nothing confirmed yet. We hope that the result of vaccination will be effective and we all be back to our normal our normal life. Did I answer the question? Give me a hint. Give me yes, no, yes. That's good. That's not clear. And if it's not clear, that's okay. Yeah, okay. Here you go. I mean, it's okay to ask a follow-up question. It's okay to tell us, it's not clear to me. That's fine. That's totally fine. Okay. Scholarship and fellowship. We're going to talk a little bit about that toward the end of the presentation, Mike. Thank you. Okay, so during the 4-year period of the program, there will be key milestones. Now, one obvious milestone is coursework. You're going to do the coursework in the first year, and toward the end of the first year, you will start thinking about Dissertation Supervisory Committee. And that is where you and us at the program head and program team will work with you to identify who will be in this committee. And during the first year, we will make sure that you will meet a lot of faculty members. You're going to talk about your research with a lot of faculty members. So you will have an idea who could help you during your journey. And we will have that conversation a couple of times. And the selection process is a very delicate process. Why it's a very delicate process? Again, I'm referring to a conventional PhD program, which I did myself. I did myself PhD. And of course, during your PhD program, your dream is to get a faculty job. PhD program is designed primarily to produce faculty members. That's not necessarily the case in the DBA. The DBA gives you the opportunity to work in academia if you wish, but also gives you the opportunity to work in the industry. That's because you are professionals. You have a lot of experience. You're coming to the program with experience. So the relationship that is very common in PhD program would not apply in the DBA program. the relationship between supervisor and student. In a conventional PhD program, the relationship is very much like a master and slave relationship. If your supervisor is happy, your life is happy. That's it. If your supervisor is not happy, you're gonna have a hard time. That's a conventional relationship. Ask your colleagues who did the PhD program. It is very, very important relationship. That relationship, when we design the program, and of course we embrace Royal Road values. It's a Royal Road is more about peer-to-peer relationship. Supervisory committee need to help you, need to support you to do the research. It's not that you're gonna do the research of your supervisor. Instead, that the supervisory committee will help you. So when we talk about selection process, we make sure that the persons who will work with you or the advisors as well, in addition to the principal supervisor, all of them will have the right knowledge, but also will have the right motive. So we refer to that as personality fit, cultural fit. We make sure that there is a right fit, not just professionally and academically, but there's also fit personally, from a personality point of view. That's very important. So the selection process I explained, but this is a big milestone. There's also the comprehensive exam or the candidacy exam. The candidacy exam takes place after you complete all your coursework. So you complete all your coursework, and within 6 months of after completing your coursework, you will need to do the candidacy exam. And the candidacy exam, you're going to work with your supervisory committee to produce a report, and this report will be reviewed by supervisory committee, and then you will have a chance to discuss this report with your supervisory committee. Once you pass the candidacy exam, then you will be eligible to submit the final proposal. The final proposal. Let me stop here and explain a little bit about that. Part of the requirement to enter the program is to submit initial proposal. So for those who would apply to the DBA program, they need to submit initial proposal, and there are requirements for that initial proposal on the website. It's 5-page only, straightforward. We're looking for certain points, and we will talk about that later. And that's only the initial proposal. Now you're going to spend then a year doing coursework, and after that 6 months preparing for the candidacy in order to be ready to submit the final version of the proposal. And during this process, this time, it's very common for a student to tweak their initial proposal and sometimes change course, because they are now grounded on theory, grounded on literature, and they are ready now to move to the next step. And that's one of the important features of the program, that we're not trying here to force you to do a research that does not align with your passion. That's very important, that you align your passion with your research. And once you submit your proposal, you will start doing you will work on your research and write your dissertation, and there will be dissertation defense toward the end. There will be external examiner looking at your dissertation, and we could talk about that process later. Any questions so far? I think I am on time. Okay, learning outcomes. The program is designed around certain learning outcomes, and we call them competency domains. We have lower level learning outcomes, and the higher order and lower order learning outcomes, not higher level. Lower order and higher order learning outcomes. The higher order learning outcomes are related to the research itself, which is about building research, which you can see on the screen. These are the 4 key learning outcome: applied research practice, professional and reflection development, building rigorous, intensive knowledge base. I.e., during research, you will learn how to build a knowledge base. You will learn how to design applied research. You will learn how to reflect on your own practice. And you will also get the skills and competency to influence the industrial practice that you're working in. This is the higher order learning competency. The lower order learning competency, which you can see, problem solving, global thinking, critical thinking, working with other, communication. These are related mainly to the coursework in the first year. So courseworks are designed based on the 5 learning outcomes. Can we move to the next slide, please? Here we go. So who are our students? What I will recommend, guys, I'm going to talk about our student, but I think it might be helpful for you to go to our website. There is a link on the website that leads you to another website where we feature our student. So you can see the type of student that we currently have, and we are very proud of them. And we believe these are the right students to start the program. And you can see them. All of them are working professionals. All of them are leaders in their field. All of them are leaders who aspire to change and make a change in their industries or field of practice. Those all our students, and we would like to have more students who wanted to independently develop original impact for research that bridge the gap between theory and practice. We normally see them as working full-time. All our students, and this is part of the admission requirement as well, they have relevant master degree. What do we mean by relevant master degree? We say that a master degree that is relevant to your research. It's not necessarily MBA. It can be MBA or a master in management or an MSc in management science. That is certainly perfectly fine. That's the standard. But if you have, let's say, master in nursing practices, okay, or master in healthcare, and you will say, well, I'm not sure whether this is the right master for me. But if you're doing your research in healthcare, that's a relevant master, and that's perfectly fine. As you will see from based on the group that we have, our colleagues that join the program, we have colleagues coming from public, private sectors. We have professors in other universities who need to do their doctorate. So we have colleagues, our colleagues in other universities who are doing their doctorate with us. We have consultants. We have those who are passionate about certain area. They are passionate about certain area, and they would like to build inquiry process about that area. So we have colleagues from all walk of life. Now, student funding and scholarship. There are so many different opportunities to get funded, especially at doctoral level. Now, we do understand that the tuition fee is not it's not small, but you don't look at it as a lump sum. You look at it over 4 years. So that tuition fee is spread over 4 years or 3 years, regardless how you're going to pay them. So even though it's spread over a number of years, there are several ways to fund yourself. Certainly, self-funding is one of the areas. We have a couple of students who decided, you know what, I'm at this age, I am at this stage of my career, I have enough funding, I'm going to go self-funding. That's very conventional. That's very normal. Internally, within Royal Road, we have, I would say, a limited funding program, internal funding, and we have like every year a couple of internal awards, $10,000 each, that we distributed to our student. I think a couple of internal awards. But there are other opportunities to get funded. The very well known is SHIRK. SSHRC. It's a governmental based funding agency specific to Canadian researchers. I mean, I'm providing this because I know that some of you, they're really not familiar with it, but for those who are familiar with SHRC, it's a very well known, it's a very prestigious kind of fund. And for those who really get SHRC fund, that is something very prestigious. And perhaps that will really improve their overall CV if they are interested in applying to academic jobs. SHRC fund will really help. The more applied kind of funding, it's MITEX. MITEX also is a governmental body that offers very important funds to researchers who are working with industry partners. So let's move to the next slide to talk a little bit about MITEX. So MITEX, I'm explaining MITEX here because we have a number of students who were able to get MITEX, and it is not something overly difficult. I mean, SHRC is very competitive, of course. MITEX, it's still competitive, but the opportunity, it's certainly, there are more opportunities under MITEX Accelerate program. So I invite you to look at the program. Just write on the Google MITEX Accelerate, and you will get the full description about the program. It's a $15,000 for each 4-month internship. Given that you have a partner organization that contribute $7,500 dollar, and MITEX will match the contribution with another $7,500 dollar. So what happened that our students normally have organizations that support them, or they are interested in their research. So what can happen that this organization say, you know what, I'm interested in your research. I would like to get more data. I would like to take advantage of the outcome of your research. I'm gonna give you $7,500 dollar, and the government will give you another $7,500 dollar. And this could go for 6 rounds. That's total $90,000 dollar funding. It's eligible for full-time graduate student at all Canadian university. You will need to be Canadian citizen, permanent resident, and also available for international students. And that's something unique about MITEX. Must spend at least 50% of internship on site with partner organization. There is of course that's a standard, but there are always ways to look at it from a different perspective. It depends on your research. So if you are collecting, data, the time you collect, data could be part of the time you spend on site with a partner organization. Could you move to the next slide? So organization could be any organization, could be for-profit, for non-for-profit. Government organization, I'm not sure it will be eligible. So if someone is working with the government and say, well, government will support me through MITEX, I think that wouldn't work. We will need to get into the details. It's case by case, but government agency have different channels to support their employees. Again, MITEX Accelerate is not highly competitive. It's still competitive, but I think I would say it's more accessible compared to SHRC. It's still competitive, but it's more accessible. It's very rigorous. You will go through very rigorous review, but it focuses on the applied nature of your research, and that is, I think, one of the key area. Is this the last slide for me? Yes?
I believe so.
Okay, let me just wrap up with a couple of points here. Ladies and gentlemen, DBA program designed for, again, working professionals. And we do understand We do understand that the decision to make, the decision to start a doctoral program is not an easy decision. And this is why we say, take your time, connect with us. Let us know how we can help you. We are here for you. The DBA program at Royal Road has been a success over the last 2 years. Actually, a very, very successful program. And Andrea, we will talk a little bit about the admission process, but I will say, and please take a few minutes to review who's in the program right now, our colleagues. The current cohort that just started in January, we have 18 students. And these 18 students were selected out of 90 applicants. We're very, very proud of our students. And in Royal Road, we try to build that respect relationship between student and faculty member and staff. We all one community. As Imara said, we know our students by name, we support them, we work with them. And this is why we really make sure when we have our student, we know that this student will be successful. And this is a commitment that we will make when you start the program. I see Tracy sent me. Yes, Tracy reminded me with a very important point that we will have another webinar. It's more focused webinar. Andreas will talk a little bit about that, but we will have more focused webinar that is designed for those who attended the first webinar. This is a more like a general webinar. We will have more focused webinar to help you build your proposal. For those who really would like to apply this year and they have some research idea that they wanted to advance and they need to write a proposal, we will have another webinar specific for proposal writing to help you writing the proposal. I see Joseph, can the program be completed in less than 4 years? Yes, it can. But it depends how we define less than 4 years. It took me 6 years to complete my doctoral, study myself. I will say you will need to attend all the residencies. That is, and the third residency will be at the beginning of the 4th year. So in theory, yes, it can. It can be completed in 3.5 years, perhaps. It's possible in theory, but all depends on your progress and especially your research progress. Hopefully I answered your question, Joseph. And I see Andreas looking at me saying, oh, we still have 10 minutes and so I'm gonna shut up now. I'm gonna give it back to Andreas to speak about how to apply.
Thank you so much, Hassan. Thank you so much for all the information. And there's a few questions that we still have in the chat box. So I will walk everybody through the how to apply, and then I will ask those questions to Hassan. I also share on the chat the link of the session that is taking place on April the 7th. On that session, as Dr. Hassan said, they are going to do like a deep, get into more detail about that research component and how you can prepare and resolve, like look into the research program that you are building up for your doctoral proposal. So that link is on the chat right now. So if you would like to register, please do. And for those people that might be watching this session later in the day or tomorrow, if you would like to get that link, please connect with us and we'll be happy to share that link with you. Next slide, please. So the admissions process, we are looking for a relevant master's degree from a recognized university, normally with a GPA of a B. If you are unsure about if you meet that admission requirement, please feel free to connect with Kelsey or Tracy. They have shared the information in their chat box. So if you have any questions about your case, they will be the best people to connect and support you. We are also looking for normally a minimum of 7 years of relevant full-time work experience with 5 years at the management level and increasing levels of responsibility. And as Dr. Hassan mentioned already, there is a very competitive admission process. So if you're interested, I highly recommend to come to the April 7th webinar so you can learn more about how your proposal will look like. So our next intake is January the 4th, 2022, and the deadline will be September the 4th, 2021. And now the most exciting piece is how to apply. So first you need to complete our online application. This online application is $126.28. Once you complete that first piece, you need to submit the following documents. The first one are official transcripts. We're looking for official transcripts from any post-secondary institution that you have attended. If you have 2 master's degrees, we recommend or request to submit both transcripts. The next document is a detailed resume, and the detailed resume, we are not looking for a business resume. What I meant is that you are not applying for a job, you're applying for your doctoral program. So we really want to know in detail who you are. And that is the first document that you are going to be able to share with us about your work experience, your education, any credit, non-credit education. So that detailed resume will be the first document to tell us the story about who you are. And if you want to find more details, Tracy just shared on the chat box the requirements so you can see in more deepness what we are looking in each of those documents. The following document is the initial proposal. And as I said, we have a webinar coming up on April the 7th, if you want to learn more about that proposal. And then we are looking for 3 letters of reference, a writing sample, and then you will have an interview. Hassan, please.
Yes, could you come back to the previous slide? And Andrea? Yeah, thank you very, very much. And just let me share something with you. Andrea and I, we know each other quite a long time. It's interesting that in webinar, she calls me Dr. Hassan, but at Royal Road, we use our first name actually. But thank you, Andrea, my friend. Thank you. Okay. For the supporting document, just wanted to note, to make few comments here. The initial proposal, I would strongly advise, that you look at the requirements on the website, and we may in the next few weeks tweak these requirements a little bit. So you will have new language on the website. So please, before you submit, consult our website. Initial proposal is a key element of your file when we assess your file. I always interview all applicants who will be shortlisted applicants before we will offer them final acceptance letter, and that is where we make sure that we declare all the expectation and making sure that our colleagues who would like to join the program are aware about everything in the program. That's also a very important piece. Writing sample is optional. It's optional. We may require writing sample, we may not require writing sample. You don't need to submit it at the beginning. If we need it, we will ask you to submit writing sample. One last recommendation and suggestion: don't make assumption. Don't say, well, you know what, I have a B- in my master's degree. I'm not gonna be qualified. Don't make that assumption. Wait, hold on. Consult with our advisors. We have a fantastic team of advisors. They're gonna help you through the process. And we say, and we use very careful words. We say normally, for example, we need B GPA normally. So I really recommend that you connect with our advisors before making any assumption. Back to you, Andrea.
Thank you, Hassan. And I just want to acknowledge it's 9:57. Some of you might need to leave to go to your next meeting, or so thank you so much for joining us today. can anticipate that might take us a little bit after 10 to be able to answer those questions. So if you can stay, please do. And if you have to go, thank you so much for joining us today. And we will be sending the recording link later today or first thing tomorrow in the morning. Financial aid, Hassan already spoke a little more about the financial aid available. But if you have any questions, we have experts across the university that can help you to navigate what financial aid will look like. So we have here the toll-free number, also the local number. I know Tracy Somers shared a few of links and the website and the email. So please always reach out to them before, as Hassan said, before you make an assumption about what is available for you. Next slide. And if you want to connect with our enrollment advisors, you already have the opportunity to meet Tracy and Kelsey. Tracy works closely with the people with a permanent resident or Canadians, and Kelsey works with international students. So please feel free to connect with them. As Hassan said, if you are unsure about your qualifications, if this program is the right one for you, please don't make assumptions, connect with them, and they will be able to help you to navigate your questions. And also, if you are interested maybe to connect with Hassan directly, with current students, Tracy and Kelsey can facilitate that process as well. So now that is the end of the formal presentation, but I know we have a few questions on the chat box, so I'm just going to look them very quickly.
On time, like 9:59.
We're just on time. So I know there was a question about if you can speak a little bit the difference between the DBA program and the Doctor of Social Science at Royal Rhodes. So what is the main difference? And yeah, over to you, Hassan.
Thank you. So these two programs are not competing with each other. They complement each other. There are many differences in terms of the structure of each program, in terms of the focus of each program. But to help you, give you a few points. The key point that the DSOC program focus on more social aspect of the problem, of the research problem. You have a research problem that if you are interested in exploring the social aspect, the aspect that's related to community, that is more of a DSOC social sciences. If it's about organization, the management of organization, any kind of organization, that is more of a DBA, Doctor of Business Administration. So it might be the same problem, but the focus of the problem, how you're going to look at the problem may take you to a different program. So I advise you, if you have a research problem, you're not sure where you want it to be, so connect with us. That again, I'm gonna repeat. This is one of the key differences. It is the DBA program is about management, about organizations. 1, 2. We focus in the program, in the DBA program, on management theories and practices. So it's all about. So if you feel that I need to know something before I start my research, I need to be grounded on management theory before I decide where to go. So that is a program that the DBA is the right program for you. It helps you to go through all this before you make a decision which area you want it to be in. While DSOC program focus more on social theory and social sciences, less around organization. We still, that said, you still can do organizational, study, and take into consideration the social aspect. But it's all about where your focus is. Is it more on organization or more on a social aspect? If it's more on social aspect, though, it's about the DSOC size. It's more organization, economy, business. It is more in the DBA. Did I answer the question?
Yes. Thank you, Hassan. And if anyone has a follow-up question about what we are talking, please feel free to type on the chat box, and I will make sure to keep on track. There was also a question, Hassan, about do most of the students who attend this program do so with the intention of working in academia or in the private sector, government?
Good question. So let me start with numbers. In a conventional PhD program, these are numbers, in a conventional PhD program, 75% and more of graduates in Canada, they don't end up in academia. I'm going to repeat. PhD graduates, in the case of PhD graduates, more than 75% of a graduate, they don't end up in academia, and they are not equipped to go to the industry because it's a very, it's a PhD program. This is one of the reasons why we designed the DBA program, that it prepares you for multiple careers beyond academia, within and beyond academia. So I recommend that you look at the profiles of our existing students. You will see that some of them are in academia, and they are professors. They are our colleagues in other universities and colleges in Canada. And they're doing their doctorate to stay in academia. Some of them, they're doing their doctorate to join academia. And some of them, they are not interested in academia. They're doing this because they want to be a leader in their organization or in their industry. They want to make an impact. They want to be a leader in the area. And at the same time, that person could teach in academia on a part-time basis, but his or her focus is still in the industry, but would like to take that big step to be a leader, a brand, has his or her own brand name in the industry. Did I explain it clearly? Okay, I see. Okay, good. Any other?
Let me see. I know there was a few questions about GPA. So once again, feel free to reach out to Tracy or Kelsey. They will be happy to talk and help you about the GPA questions. Mara, do I missing any question? Oh, there's one about the faculty. What are the focus area of research of the supervising faculty? I know you already mentioned a little bit of how diverse our faculty are, but anything else that you would like to add in that piece?
Thank
Hassan?
you. So we're proud of our faculty member. We have faculty members who are involved in different disciplines, different areas, and different research projects within Canada and even outside. So you have the ability to choose from our own faculty list as to have a supervisor, but you still can choose a faculty member from outside university within any post-secondary institution in Canada and to supervise you. And that's often happen when you're doing a very, very specific type of research. We have a colleague who's doing a research in Arctic area. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. And this is a very unique area, and there is few people working in that field. So we were able to identify a key supervisor, a key researcher in this field, and making the matching process between the student and that key researcher. And now that key researcher supervising our student. And that is part of the flexibility we have.
I believe we have covered most of the questions. It's 10:06. So I want to say thank you to everybody joining us today. We really appreciate you invest your last hour and a bit with us to learn more about the DBA program. Thank you, Hassan, Emara, Tracy, and Kelsey for supporting all the questions that came through the chat box. And if for any reason we miss your question, please reach out. We would love to connect with you and move forward in that conversation. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day wherever you are located. I know we have people from all across Canada and many places around the world. So have a wonderful day, everyone, and bye-bye for now.
Thank you, Andrea, and thank you, Amara. Thank you, Tracy, and thank you, everyone, for joining.